Hello YouTube, how you doing? It's here. It is finally here. It's finally in my hands. It is the Para 3, the Paramilitary 3. And it's not just the name Para 3, it's also the blade length. Yes, it's the new Paramilitary 3. It's called the Para 3, and it has a 3-inch blade. And I'm in heaven. I'm in love. I'm in love. Wow. This just rocketed up to a tie. For the number one slot in my Spyderco collection. If this is the first time you've tuned in to Keith, Kevin, Ken, I'm Kevin. And I do a daily pocket dump deconstruction on this channel. I'm also going through my Spyderco collection with a number of videos, and I'm calling it Spyderco Palooza because I have close to 300 Spydercos, and I'm holding in my hand the tie of my number one. The other number one was just released this year. The other number one has a 3-inch blade. The other number one has a compression lock. The other number one is the Sage 5. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But first, let's talk about this Para 3. Paramilitary 3. Now, where did this come from? Let's start with just a little bit of history. We're not going to go big time history because I know you want to know. I'm sorry, you guys. I just got this out of the mail and literally took it out of a brand new box just an hour and a half ago. And look. Hello to the Paramilitary 3, the Para 3. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about the Para 3. This has been rumored to be coming from Spyderco for years. I have never seen Spyderco at a convention. I've never been to Blade. I've never been to SHOT Show. I watch all the videos about that. I dream about going to it. And from what I understand, at the Spyderco booth, they always have knives that are in development, but no one can film them, and they don't talk about it. And for a long time, people have been talking about the shorter Paramilitary 2. There are rumors about it being called the Minuteman. There are all kinds of rumors. Well, it finally is here. It's called the Para 3, and it's the Paramilitary 3. So it started with the military. Okay? The military with its 4-inch blade. This military happens to be the Spyderco Sprint Run from this year that has carbon fiber and 52100 steel. But that's besides the point. Everyone was talking about doing a smaller military. Military is great. It has a liner lock, but it was just too big for a lot of people. I'm one of those people. The reason that the Para 3 has jumped to my number one is I like a smaller knife. I do. As a carry, I like a smaller knife. That's just my preference. I know everybody has theirs. But this is the military. And so Spyderco, who always listens, they don't always act on what their fans want, but they always listen. And of course, they came up with the Paramilitary. This is the Paramilitary 2. I don't have a Paramilitary 1, but the Paramilitary 2, I don't know the figures, but I know it's one of the best sellers. This year, and I'm recording this in 2017, it's January 4th, 2017. We just turned into a new year. In 2016, it was an epic year for Spyderco. It was their 40th anniversary year. I started the year 2016 with one paramilitary. And I ended with 7 paramilitaries. That's how many different variations they came up with. This was an exclusive from KnifeWorks, carbon fiber with the CPM M4 steel. But there were a lot of variations with a lot of different blade steels and scales in 2016. This is the baby. Obviously, it's one of my top 5 knives. It's at just over 3.4-inch blade. Of course, the big thing is the compression lock. The compression lock that's so smooth when you release it. Very sturdy as well. This is a Spyderco lock, and that's why I showed you briefly the Sage 5. We'll talk a little bit about the Sage 5 later. But Spyderco created this lock. It's on a number of knives, and especially in 2016, they introduced a whole lot of knives with the compression lock. They've been using the compression lock for quite some time, but when you think about a wonderful EDC knife, whether you're a huge Spyderco fan or not, most people are fans of the Paramilitary 2. That compression lock is wonderful. At 3.4 inches, for most people, it's the perfect EDC size. But a lot of people, like myself, wanted something smaller. And they kept asking Spyderco to go smaller. Well, in 2016, they came out with the Sage 5. The Sage series is a series where Spyderco has the exact same profile for the knife. S30V steel, their Spyderco leaf shape for the blade. Everything is exactly the same, except the scales change. In this case, it's carbon fiber on top of G10. But what the Sage is all about is the wise knife makers who create locks. And finally, they saluted themselves with the compression lock. And I was saying this is as close as we're going to get to a small Paramilitary 2. Compression lock, 3 inches. In this case, though, the blade shape, of course, a little different than the Paramilitary 2. And then today, a week ago, it was still 2016, at the end of the year, we started to hear and see the Paramilitary 3. And it finally came in the mail. And if you thought the Paramilitary 2 was perfect, well, this is just perfect. It is literally just a small version of the Paramilitary 2. 3-inch blade, S30V steel. It has the first one, and I say the first one, of course, has black G10 scales. It's funny, this has been the most highly anticipated knife for years. A smaller Paramilitary 2. And I'll tell you, the early reviewers, Blade HQ and others that must have gotten a review knife early but couldn't start selling it, everyone had kind of the same feeling that I had when I opened it up. First it was, it's here, finally. And then you start feeling like, okay, it's a small Paramilitary 2. You know, it's kind of what you imagined a small Paramilitary 2 would be like. But for me, I do a lot of varied, new carry all the time, different combinations, which is why I do a pocket dump deconstruction every single day. But let me tell you something. This is a knife that could stay in my pocket forever, and I'd be happy. Seriously. That is why this is by far, it's hard to do a review, and this is a quickie first reaction review, but let me just tell you something. It's a Paramilitary 2. It's cut down to a 3-inch blade, S30V steel, large lanyard hole. What's going to happen, though, in 2017, that's when it gets exciting. This is tied with my Sage 5 as my top Spyderco knife. But wait till the variations start rolling in. Wait till Blade HQ and Knife Works and everyone else. Wait till the sprint run for the Para 3 comes out. This is going to be a very popular knife for a very long time, and I can't wait until we get better scales and better blade steel, better steel. What do you think, you guys? What do you think about the Paramilitary 2? Paramilitary 3. I'm sorry, the Para 3. I am in love. This and the Sage 5 are the two perfect knives. They are tied for number one. But I'll tell you, the knife I have in my hand, by the time 2017 is over, I'm going to have a messy desk of Para 3s, all with different steels and a lot of different scales. Tell me in the comments, what do you think the first variation on the Para 3 will be? I'll tell you what I think. I wish someone would have a lottery or something on this. I think the next Para 3, the next Spyderco Para 3 version will be carbon fiber with Crucible's M4 steel. Let's see what happens, okay? But what a wonderful knife. This is my first impressions. I'm Kevin. This is my first impressions on the Para 3, Spyderco's Paramilitary 3, and I'm in love with it. 3-inch blade, S30V steel, black G10 scales, of course the compression lock, and butter is smooth. This is an hour and a half out of the box, smooth as butter. Hey folks, don't forget, thumb this up. There's a bunch of videos on this channel. If you're new to this channel, go check it out. The playlist galore. Every single day I deconstruct my carry. I like my pockets full. And so you can see all of those videos, over 320 of them. And you know what? Tomorrow morning, we'll do another one because we do it every single day. Don't forget to like this with the thumb ups. Don't forget to share it. Let people know that the Para 3's out. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button. By the way, we're trying to reach 2,000. We're a ways away from reaching 2,000 subscribers. Once that happens, I'm going to give 2 new Spydercos away. At least one of them will be a sprint run. So hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal. Hey, you guys, that's it. Have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.